Okay guys, welcome back. So a long overdue video here coming from us. We've talked about doing this one for quite some time.
We have, yeah.
The Ventus line of shafts has probably been the hottest sort of shaft model on the PGA Tour over the last 12 months. So we've been talking about diving into the sort of stock version that comes in the SIM range.
Yep.
I call it the non-VeloCore version, and then obviously there's the aftermarket VeloCore version.
Yeah.
And most people's question is, what the hell is VeloCore?
What is VeloCore? What is the difference? Why do I care? So you buy this driver and that's what it comes with.
Correct.
No VeloCore version.
It looks the same.
It really does.
Really visually, the only kind of minor difference is literally the little bit of paint down at the tip section there that literally says VeloCore.
Right.
They'd made a big deal leading into the PGA show about what was coming with VeloCore and Ventus and their technology and what it really meant for golfers. Talked about high MOI shafts.
Which was a cool concept, I thought, at the time.
Making shafts more forgiving and leading to a more forgiving package. Hit it off center, less twisting, less energy loss, all those things. And that's really what they were striving for with VeloCore. Yeah. They were trying to eliminate the leakage on off-center strikes. We all know non-VeloCore, hit it in the middle with a good swing. Yeah. There's nothing in it.
And we're not talking about that. No more than we do that with any test. Yeah. I mean, obviously a perfect one-to-one swing and strike, it's going to produce the same results.
And ultimately, guys, we have to try and extrapolate here whether there's value for you guys even spending the money on the aftermarket version or whether the standard version is decent. You'll still get good value.
Fair.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
So, spec-wise, subtle differences. The torque is a little bit higher on the standard version. Torque's a little bit tighter on the VeloCore version, Matty. The VeloCore itself being the high modulus, very stiff graphite that's inside the VeloCore that stops the shaft twisting and drooping quite as much. A lot more energy is stayed or is kind of kept in the shot.
So it's just effectively a softer tip version of it? Is that kind
of? Yes, it definitely would be. But different things as well. Because the graphite that's in the non-VeloCore version, the standard version, is not quite as strong. There's subtle differences in how they make the shaft for that. So the taper rate is reduced. So the shaft stays a little bit wider for longer on the non-VeloCore version. Those really are. There's manufacturing differences. To the point where we jokingly at times have said it's not even the same shaft.
Yeah, well, it's constructed completely differently.
It's entirely different. So let's get into it and we can talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff.
Perfect.
That is lovely.
Pretty good. That's the one you were talking about. It's hit centered, no complaints. Less so. It's fine.
A little low in the head?
Low in the head, yep. Yep. Goodness.
That's going to be an overachiever. Yeah. High in the head.
Above center strike. It felt like a pretty good swing. Maybe I towed it.
And well, we do tend to take out the misses, but it's important when we're doing this to, leave some of these in.
Yeah, and then compare them later and see what went on. That didn't feel as bad as the result was. Okay. The result was pretty ugly. It's a better strike.
That was a really good one there. Yeah. That flew a long way.
I'll tell you what, I mean, we've done a little bit of stock shaft testing in the past. I want to say this is definitely one of the best ones I've tried.
Feels good for you?
It doesn't feel goofy.
Okay.
It may feel a little bit soft, it'll be hard to know until I compare it, but it certainly isn't like disaster zone. Good. Like you wouldn't be disappointed with it, I don't think. I'm definitely kind of mixing the strikes around. The results are okay though. Like I wouldn't be unhappy with it. It doesn't feel like it's super tight, but the results are reasonable.
All right, Matty boy, so into the aftermarket version. It was noticeable for you when you picked up there the taper rate.
Absolutely. Even just when you look at the graphics, and this, I think from here to here is where I really noticed it. It's literally thinner. Yep. But obviously, the grade of graphite makes it as strong or stronger.
It's exactly. It's the grade of graphite, the way they lay the graphite makes it so much more structurally stable. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to keep the energy in there. That's what's going to stop the energy loss. That's what's going to stop the twisting. That's why they call it a higher MOI product.
Gotcha.
So this is some really premium materials in here, which is from an R&D perspective is not easy to obviously research. It costs a lot of money, and obviously sourcing higher grade materials is expensive. Hence, there's a cost.
It's not free.
It's not free.
That's why stock shafts, they're pretty good, but you got to cut a corner, or your driver will cost $1,200.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, let's have a little look.
That's a goodie. It's got some serious pop on it.
That's nice.
That felt really good.
Captain neutral.
It might have actually been a little toey, but it felt good.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Slightly.
Face to path was really nice though.
Pretty square, yeah. Those last two are really good.
How did you not win driver bracket with this thing?
I don't know. It had a bad day, obviously.
It must have had a bad day.
Yeah, I actually do think that's the reason. Yeah, those three are something else.
You've found a groove with this thing.
I don't think I've hit 4 or 5 drives like that in my life. I actually don't. What the hell? Well, there's just serious consistency to just like if I felt like I made a good swing, all the results are the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to argue with that sensation. I don't ever have 5 strikes that look like that, ever.
That's a cluster there. Small sample size. So you can see why on the demo day, on the tee, people would go, well, there's nothing in it.
Fair enough.
There's nothing in it.
If you look at one metric, there is nothing in it.
Yeah, and then if we look at what really is important, if I'm putting what I think is important into this as a fitter, and I look at those numbers and the way they're jumping about all over the map.
There's really no pattern to them either, which I don't love.
Yeah, look at the standard Eve on both.
Yeah, that's crazy. 2 millimeters either side.
Yeah.
So give me my favorite analogy is when you talk about aftermarket shafts related to like driving a car to a restaurant versus driving in Formula One.
Yeah.
So I drove to dinner with the stock, nothing bad happened, I got there the same, did fine.
Absolutely done the job, no big deal. It done exactly what you wanted it to do.
Yeah.
You put it on the track,
where the margin for error is tighter.
You will see some things like, speed is exactly like driving at higher speed. You need more control.
Exactly. The faster you go, the more control.
If you're going to steer the thing correctly, you're going to need more control. And the way we establish more control, Matty, is by limiting the variables in this case, which lives right here. Crazy. So we're not straying away from that strike point. Your numbers are really in control. I don't know if I've seen you hit, it's been a while since I've seen you, put it that way, since I've seen you hit tighter.
That little sample of 4 or 5 that's the best feeling shots I've hit in quite some time.
Yeah.
But I think that's why this can be a hard test. I'm happy that there was at least something to chat about, because it can be tough when you take shafts that, I know they're not the same, but that material difference here is going to help return the club to the same place, given the same input, more often than something that doesn't contain the same material.
And don't get us wrong. If you don't really believe that VeloCore and 70-ton pitch fiber, which is what it is basically, is the higher strength material. If you don't believe that that's going to help you, you're probably better to go with the stock one.
Well, you've already taken yourself out of the... You're right, because you'll do whatever it takes to make that one fly the same.
Absolutely.
You'll do whatever it takes.
It's just, it's a different Ventus, it's a different profile, it's a different taper rate, it's a different torque, and it performs a little bit more on the loose side.
Fair. So let me ask you a couple devil's advocate questions. One, I'm going to get the stock one for budgetary reasons.
Yep.
I normally play an S.
Yep.
Should I play an X? Would that help?
Well, if you go straight on the Taylormade website, one of the things they offer you is tipping adjustment.
Okay.
If you order it off there, so
that would help.
You can maybe tip it a little bit. You can go half inch shorter and tip it a little bit.
Makes sense.
So I would probably still stay in a S. Tip it a little bit and go shorter.
Gotcha.
In order to do that, just to maybe tighten up the performance a little bit, go a little higher towards that kind of reduced taper, just to stiffen up the shaft.
Yep. It's a different feeling. There's no doubt about it. This is going to give you, I think, that kind of feeling of that sort of autopilot where you can just get into that zone. The other one was fine, but I just couldn't make the strikes match up with a pattern.
Definitely. But I think, again, it showed its value for you, Matty. It really did. I mean, we actually took one out there that was a little bit on the smelly side with the standard.
Yeah, I wasn't totally sure whether it was me or not.
Yeah.
So we were a little picky, but that's the only shot we actually removed out of it.
That was just because there was only really one that done it, so we left it as a little bit of an anomaly. But it's still we saw something from that we never saw from the other one.
It didn't occur, and it does go along with what you'd expect. If that tip section was softer, perhaps the face did close a bit faster, and we did lose the ball a bit more to the right. So it's there, it's definitely there.
A little more efficiency.
Yeah, really quite interesting. I mean, so I tested this second. Generally, you're a little more tired after making a bunch of swings, but efficient, you can't. It's hard to make up for 0.3, 0.4 of efficiency.
Yeah, and there's some interesting delivery differences as well.
Okay.
There's more droop, and there is more additional sort of dynamic loft.
So it's doing the traditional things that a shaft you'd expect it to do in a
softer
profile.
shaft. It's bending more, it's deflecting more towards the ball, it's drooping more because of the 205 gram weight that's on the end of it. Exactly like you say, Matty, it's doing exactly what we would expect. All right, guys, I think that's definitive for us. That's
feels like it.
There's a bit of a contrast between those two, so hopefully you guys can see that as well. The distance will not reflect it like we said, but when you dive a little bit deeper into the detail, into the weeds, you can actually extract quite a lot of difference.
It's going to show up in the averages and over time. It's not shot to shot, obviously, but you need to see it over a bit of a period of time.
And that's where it reflects in your score, right? So just because it doesn't reflect in your distance off a given shot, over the course of a season, 5 years or 3 years that you own the driver, that's when the investment starts to pay off for itself.
Definitely. Yep. Very good.
Okay. All right, guys. One for the shaftoids, as it's called in the internet these days. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, saw the differences as we did. We will be back with more soon.